There's lots of different reasons as to why you may feel the way you feel and have the insecurities you do. But running blindly and not being aware is not going to improve them and not going to help them. Work through your insecurities. Whenever you get annoyed about something, let's go through that. Let's work out, why did I get annoyed? What about this annoyed me? What was my initial reaction? What should I be thinking in this situation? If it was a friend asking you the question, what advice would you give? Or try to give the opposing opinion to this. So I thought I'd take this one down onto the floor because I feel a little bit more comfortable on the floor, if I'm honest, when I talk about subjects like this, because they're hard subjects to talk about. So I want to talk about insecurities. We all have insecurities. We all have things that we are dealing with, and it can be quite difficult for us to talk about insecurities. I find it's difficult because a lot of our insecurities are things that we are actually afraid of. They're things that we judge ourselves on quite massively, and though we judge ourselves, maybe like we think other people do as well, and like that's obviously not always the case. We are often our worst critics and our biggest critics. Insecurities are a difficult one. I mean, I've dealt with loads, and in the past I didn't really realise they were insecurities. If you're not sure what your insecurities are, some people know. Like if it's a physical thing, then like some people know, oh well, my insecurity is, oh, like I'm fat, or I've got like one leg's longer than the other, like something weird like that. And for you it's really bad. Like I've got spots, for example, and for me I'm like, oh, my spots, but other people don't even notice your spots. But for you it's quite big, and it can be quite impactful actually. We do a lot of things probably to hide our insecurities. There's a lot of reasons girls wear tons and tons of makeup, is maybe to hide acne, maybe to hide spots. And that's why maybe a lot of blokes are going for these D-squared hats at the moment, to hide their receding hairline. There are reasons we do it, like we hide our insecurities quite often, and it's because they're hard for us to deal with. Someone's insecurities is going to be completely different to yours, and judging someone on what they get insecure about, it's not fair. People can get insecure about a lot of different things, and I think we should let people get insecure about whatever they want to. We just have to find a way to deal with it, and your insecurities you can't project onto other people. So I had this not too long ago actually, and I'm trying to do a thing now where I'm painfully aware of my actions and my reactions to things, and I'm witnessing how I act a lot, so I can try to be better, so I can try to not have these insecurities, so I can try and just basically work my way through and be a better human as such, I guess. My insecurities often come from places where things have either done to me in the past, or my insecurities come from things that challenge my ego or challenge me as a man in my opinion of what a bloody man is, because obviously we don't actually know, and it's all things that we make in our own heads, I guess. I had a thing where I was with my girlfriend and we were talking to a friend, and they were talking about how well they're doing, like how much money they're making, like, and in that situation, I should be thinking, wow, mate, like that's amazing, really happy for you. And in my head, I was like, fucking stop talking about how much money you make, because I'm making fuck all at the moment. She's gonna want to fucking leave me for, like, do you know how silly that is? But in the time, like, that was an insecurity. Like, I was like, fuck, stop talking about money. I got no money and we're talking about money. Like, how can I join this conversation? Really, in fact, I should be really happy for that person for like doing really well for themselves. That's an ego thing, and that's an insecurity, and I have to deal with that. Like, it's unfair for me to project that onto other people. It's unfair for me to have that insecurity and for it to let it affect how we communicate with someone else, let it affect like how I see someone and speak with someone else. Like, it's really unfair on that person. It happens a lot in relationships as well. I think if you've ever been like betrayed in the past, or if you don't know how to communicate and connect with your partner, ultimately there's this fear, I guess it may be an animal instinct thing, this fear of like infidelity and this fear of your partner being unloyal and untruthful. And if it's ever happened to you in the past, it's obviously horrible. It's something that makes you question yourself as a person. It makes you question who you are, how you act, and it's just not a very nice feeling. And then when you're in a new relationship, maybe some triggers get set off. I think I've had fears from a young age in the sense of my parents split up, and through that, like, I didn't spend too much time with my mum because my mum had to leave. So with my mum leaving, and I had a first girlfriend who left, which kind of confirmed that women always leave. So when I get into a new relationship, my first thought, rather than enjoying the honeymoon stage, or rather than being amazed and overwhelmed by the enjoyment and the love that we're feeling at the time, I still have this underlying fear that, well, at some point you're going to leave. Now, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy and almost like self-sabotage in the way that that will affect me so much that like we stop actually enjoying the relationship that we have together. Now, you can end up doing that. Like, you can end up ruining something based on insecurities that only you are thinking. Relationship ones are difficult because you have no idea what your partner's thinking, which is why communication is so good. You have to remember that the 9 times out of 10, or the majority of the time, anytime someone is unloyal or unfaithful in a relationship is because they're unhappy. Now, you just need to communicate to make sure your partner is happy. Dr. John Gottman's got a lot of good stuff on this, and I watched a TED talk of his last night, and he's talking about if you're positive with your partner. So if you think about your partner, for example, like little things like when I go to make a cup of tea, like think about your partner. Does she want a cup of tea? Like little things like that. It's these little interactions. Maybe your partner has a big sigh, and in those moments you've got 2 choices. You can either ask what's wrong or you ignore it. And those are the moments where your partner will feel most connected and most supported by you asking out and trying to do what's right for them in situations where you maybe are only thinking about yourself. So someone who's not being loyal is probably because they are unhappy. So you just need to make sure your partner's happy by putting them first in a few things and actually thinking about them when you do stuff. So insecurities, they are horrible. We all have them. One of the best ways to be aware of your insecurities is anytime you get annoyed, try and find the root cause of that. I got a lot of things and a lot of insecurities and a lot of kind of self-doubt and like a lack of self-confidence, which I need to work on. And that shines through insecurities and through my reactions to certain situations, which I cannot project my insecurities onto the other person, whether it be someone in work, whether it be a friend, whether it be a partner. If you're projecting your insecurities and blaming other people, then you are not taking responsibility for yourself. And this is where insecurities come in. We need to deal with them. We need to get through them. We need to work it out. And I like to be painfully aware and work out where it all come from. Is there a place where that come from? Where is that stemmed from? Why did I react like that? And reflect. You can do this by writing it down and by talking it through with your partner or by discussing it with a counsellor and trying to get to a root cause of all of this. There is lots of different reasons as to why you may feel the way you feel and have the insecurities you do, but running blindly and not being aware is not going to improve them and not going to help them. If your insecurities are around relationships, then you need to work out why and how to get through them. If your insecurities are about the spots on your face, then this is a great time to be grateful for what you've got, to be grateful that that is the only thing you are worried about, to be grateful that you have makeup, because as men, we unfortunately aren't allowed to wear makeup yet, or it's not accepted as us wearing makeup yet. So you may have to deal with them, and to deal with them doesn't mean being okay with it. It just means accepting that this is where I'm at, and it's not ideal, yet it's not anyone's fault. It's not something that like I should worry about to the point where I'm afraid of going out or I'm afraid of my partner doing something, because we ultimately need to trust, and we need to trust that the people around us don't care about the spots. We need to trust that our personality shines through more than our physical features. We need to trust that our partner loves us for us. Work through your insecurities. Whenever you get annoyed about something, let's go through that. Let's work out, why did I get annoyed? What about this annoyed me? What was my initial reaction? What should I be thinking in this situation? Like, if it was a friend asking you the question, what advice would you give? Or try to give the opposing opinion to this. If you have one school of thought of your insecurity being I'm so spotty, maybe try and give the reason as to why it doesn't matter that you have spots. Trying to turn this internal voice from negative to positive is difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So let's try and work for our insecurities. Let's try and not let them get over the top of us. I'm Charlie. This is Hack the Body, Hack the Mind. You can find us on all different social media platforms, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.